Hello, I'm Rick Lepley, and in this lesson we're going to look at whole steps and half steps in the major scale. We're going to be looking at the key of G major and just wrap our heads around what really is just a simple rule that never changes. Okay, so the whole step, half step rule or pattern never changes in the major scale. So what we're going to learn here will apply to every key, and it's a pattern that just continues to repeat itself across the entire fretboard of the guitar. So I'm going to start by explaining it on the first string. Well, first let me just say it's whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, and then half step back to the original tonic or root note, which in this case the root note is G, because we're going to be studying G major, right? So that's the first note is G. All right, so the notes in G major are G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and then back to G. So there's really only 7 notes, okay? So starting on the first E string, let's start with G first, okay? Okay, so G, our first note G. Well, let's extrapolate here a bit on this here. So let's figure this out. Okay, so high E, that's the open E string. Okay, we're going to go a whole step to our second fret, which is F sharp. Okay, so E, F sharp in the key of G, and then we're going to go a half step to G. Okay, so a half step is just 1 fret away. That's a half step. Okay, a whole step is 2 doors down, if you will. It's you're skipping over a fret, and so it's 3 frets away is a whole step. Okay, half step, whole step. Okay, now imagine the open string. Okay, this is really like a fret marker here, but it's open, so it's an open E. Okay, of course you don't have to put your finger there. So, but imagine this is also a fret marker. Okay, so from here to the F sharp is a whole step. You can see that this is like three frets away. Okay, 1 fret away is a half step, and 3 frets away is a whole step. So, just want to make sure that we completely clarify that. Okay, so G. What comes after G? A, right? So G to A is a whole step. So we have a whole step, and then another whole step. So it's whole step, whole step. So G to A is a whole step. A to B, right? It's going to come after A, is a whole step. And then B to C is a half step. Okay? B to C is a half step. C to D is a whole step. D to E at the 12th fret there is a whole step. E to F sharp is a whole step there at the 14th fret. Okay? And then at the 15th fret is G again. Okay? So it's a half step then from the F sharp to the G. Okay? So G to A is a whole step. A to B is a whole step. B to C is a whole step. C to D is a whole step. D to E is a whole step. E to F sharp is a whole step. And then a half step back to G, the original root note. So let's take it from the very beginning here on the E string. So E to F sharp is a whole step. F sharp to G is a half step. G to A is a whole step. A to B is a whole step. B to C is a whole step. C to D is a whole step. D to E is a whole step. E to F sharp is a whole step. And then a half step back to the original root or tonic note, G. Okay? Now, So that's on one string. That's the E string. Now this is going to follow through on every string. Okay. For example, let's go to the next string. The second string is a B string. So open B. Okay. So that B note is here, if you will. We don't literally have to press it down, right? But okay. So B to C, if you recall, was a half step apart, right? So B to C is a half step. So that would dictate that this first fret here is going to be a C note. Okay, so B, C, C to D, do you recall? Was a whole step apart, right? So C to D, again we're on the second string. Now and the D note then is on the third fret. C to D is a whole step. D to E is a whole step. E to F sharp is a whole step. F sharp to G is a half step. G to A is a whole step. And then A back to B, because at the 12th fret, that is a full octave. So you hear the B note? Okay, so we're playing a B there at the 12th fret. So then if we were to continue on then, so the 13th fret then, so from B to C, again, was a half step, right? B to C is a half step, and C to D is a whole step. E, did we do E? No, we just did D, right? Okay, it's easy to get confused. E to D is a whole step. Or, I'm going to start over, right? B to C to D to E. Did I say that? D to E. Okay. So on E, where are we at? So the B was at the 12th. The C was at the 13th. Okay. The D was at the 15th. The E is at the 17th fret. And then a whole step again from the E to the F sharp is at the 19th fret. Right? 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, yeah. So F sharp is at the 19th fret. And then it's going to take us back a half step to G, which on my guitar is the very last fret. You can see that there on the second string. And that's a G note. G there. All right. Gee whiz. Oh, that's corny. I just had to say it. So anyways, that's going to continue on every string. G, whole step to A, whole step to B, half step to C, whole step to D, whole step to E, whole step to F sharp, half step to G. On the D string, D, whole step to E, okay, whole step to F sharp, half step to G, whole step to A, whole step to B, half step to C, whole step back to D, okay? A string, A, whole step to B, half step to C, whole step to D, whole step to E, whole step to F sharp, half step to G, okay? And then a whole step back to A. And of course, we know that will continue on up here. I'm just taking it to the 12th fret with these. I don't want to belabor the point. So here, and the low E is going to be exactly like the high E. We're just same pattern. So E, whole step to F sharp, half step to G, whole step to A, whole step to B, half step to C, whole step to D, whole step back to E. Okay. So this is whole steps and half steps, right? That's what we're talking about. We can see that knowing the notes on the fingerboard is a good idea. This is one way to help us remember them. Whatever we're doing, even when we're learning chords, we should try to think about the notes, okay? What the notes are, all right? It'll really, really, really help us in ways that we can't always see at first, but down the road we'll thank, our past selves for being so kind to us, for taking the time to consider the actual notes. All right, so I'm going to show you one more thing and then we're going to end the video here. But the last thing I want to show you, I've showed you up each string, okay, so that's horizontally. Now vertically, I'm going to show you the first closed position of the major scale. And I'm going to start it on G. So it's G on the 3rd fret, whole step to A. A is a whole step to B, half step to C, whole step to D, okay, whole step to E, whole step to F sharp, half step to G. Now notice the G here, so that's an octave. So, okay, so G, whole step to A, from A to the whole step to B, from B a half step to C, and from C a whole step to D, right? D is a whole step to E, and E is a whole step to F sharp, and F sharp is a half step to G, and from G is a whole step to A, which continuing up the string, a whole step to B, a half step to C, a whole step to D, whole step to E, whole step to F sharp, half step to G, whole step to A, whole step to B, and a half step back to C. And that's the very highest note I can play on my guitar. Okay? So there you go. That's whole steps and half steps. If you've got any questions or anything, you know, put it in the comments. I hope you liked the video. I hope it was helpful. Subscribe to my videos, and you can get in that way you can follow all the different lessons more easily. If you or someone you know is interested in guitar lessons, private lessons, please feel free to contact me at Rick's5, that's the number 5, Minute Guitar at gmail.com, and we can discuss lessons. And I can do lessons over Zoom. Unless you're close to me, then we can try face-to-face lessons. Otherwise, they work great over Zoom. So I hope this was helpful, and y'all take care. See you on the next video. Bye now.